Today we're going to talk about 5 powerful ways that you can quiet tinnitus that actually work. Before we can jump into those methods, it's really important that you understand what's happening when tinnitus is being perceived in the brain. There's a couple of things that happen. There's the auditory system, which is your hearing system, and your limbic system, which is a system that regulates your emotions and is really tied into why your tinnitus is so bothersome to you. In our auditory system, we have different parts of the ear, from the outer ear, which is the part you can see in your ear canal, going into your middle ear, where we have the 3 smallest bones in your body, moving onwards to your inner ear, which the inner ear houses both your hearing of organ, which is your cochlea, and your balance system, which is your vestibule. There's a nerve that connects to those organs that then travels up to the brain, and it's responsible for transmitting signals that come from the outside world through that pathway up to the brain, a processing center called the auditory cortex. So the auditory cortex is what processes sound that comes into the brain, but from there, sounds then transfer to another portion of the brain called the limbic system. When the limbic system receives these sound signals, it's going to identify, is this sound a negative sound, a neutral sound, or a positive sound? A great example of that is if you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you hear a police siren behind your car. Most of us would consider that a negative or a threatening sound. We'd be scared by it. You might start to think, was I speeding? Was I doing something wrong? And our body would naturally start to react because of the limbic system. Some of these reactions might include sweating, your arm hair might raise, and believe it or not, your pupils might actually dilate. But if we're listening to the fan or your air conditioning or even your refrigerator if it's making ice, your limbic system has identified those sounds as a neutral sound. And because of that, you're not actually going to react to it. You may hear it, you may be aware of it, but you're not going to be threatened or bothered by it, so your body will not react the same way. And then we have positive sounds. Let's say we hear our favorite song on the radio and it makes us just feel happy with joy. Our heart might race, but in a positive way, and you might start to feel euphoric. This is because the limbic system is associating it with a positive reaction. So for individuals who are experiencing tinnitus, and if it's bothersome to them, their limbic system has actually heard this sound of the tinnitus, and it has labeled it as a negative sound. In really positive news, we know through scientific efforts and scientific research that the limbic system can be retrained, and we can turn that sound from a negative sound into a neutral sound. So the auditory limbic connection is like a loop. Your auditory system is generating the tinnitus sound, and then the limbic system is tagging it with an emotional response, stress or anxiety, something along that same spectrum. Then our emotional reactions that are tied to it make our brain pay more attention to the sound. So now we're more hyper-focused on the tinnitus that we're perceiving because of this emotional reaction. And the more attention that your brain pays to the tinnitus, the more aware you will be of your tinnitus, and potentially the greater stressed you are, the more anxious you are, and the harder time you can have trying to manage the tinnitus. So what we need to do is help to distract your brain and refocus your brain from focusing on the tinnitus to something more pleasant. And in the meantime, this will allow us to train the limbic system to turn that negative tinnitus sound into a neutral sound. So let's talk about the 5 ways that you can quiet your tinnitus. The first is using some form of sound enrichment or background noise. During the day, it's important to keep on sounds like the television or radio. You can even make a phone call, and just hearing that conversation on the other line can be a form of distraction. Avoid complete silence during the day if silence is bothersome to your tinnitus. It's also extremely important to use sound enrichment in the bedroom at nighttime when you're trying to sleep. And this is because about 90% of my patients feel that their tinnitus is very bothersome to them when they're trying to sleep at night because the bedroom's so quiet. Some things that you can use in your bedroom or in the quiet environment can be a fan, an air purifier. You can even use a sleep band. This is a simple sleep band here that's soft and has headphones built right into it that you can stream music to it through Bluetooth wirelessly. so that way you can hear soothing sounds in your ears when you're trying to sleep. There are also small sound machines that you can put on your nightstand that can also produce music. Some come with a little SD chip in them with music preloaded. Others you can also connect via Bluetooth to have your Bluetooth device, like a phone, stream apps directly into the machine. The second way you can help to quiet your tinnitus is to use cognitive behavioral therapy strategies, or CBT strategies. CBT is the way that we think affects the way we behave and the way that we act. So they're all tied in together. There is a study from 2020 that was published in the JAMA Scientific Journal that showed that cognitive behavioral therapy improves tinnitus-related quality of life. And there has been a number of studies since then that have shown that whether you're using cognitive behavioral therapy that was delivered to you from a provider in person or a provider via telehealth can be extremely, extremely beneficial. This study showed that over 12 months, participants in the study found that they had a notable increase in their health-related quality of life. They had a substantial reduction in their tinnitus severity, and they also had a meaningful decrease in their tinnitus impairment. So overall, they had really, really beneficial outcomes through using cognitive behavioral therapy. So what is CBT and what are some techniques that you can use at home? Let me tell you. One of the CBT techniques you can use is called cognitive restructuring. So what you want to do is challenge yourself when you're having these negative thoughts. An example may be, will this ringing ever stop? Because I don't think it's ever going to stop. If you find that you're going down this negative pathway, pause yourself and think about, where's the evidence that supports that the ringing is never going to go away or you're never going to improve? Is it something that you just have planted in your own mind, or have you actually heard this from a physician, a tinnitus specialist, or in some scientific literature? Instead, if you identify that this is a cognitive distortion or a negative thought, change your mindset with the thought of, I'm having the ringing right now, but it can get better. And my ringing is not impacting me from focusing or concentrating or socializing with friends, if those are examples that your tinnitus is not actually having a negative impact on. Behavioral activation in distraction. So what this means is that we want you to engage in a positive hobby or activity to help to distract your brain from hearing the tinnitus. Engaging in these activities will help to shift your focus away from the tinnitus to something else. So if you are at home and you're not engaged in anything and you're just hearing your tinnitus, this can be very, very bothersome for an individual who's experiencing a debilitating tinnitus or catastrophic tinnitus, bothersome tinnitus. And so what can you do? You can make a phone call to a loved one or a friend that you haven't spoken to in a while. You can clean your house, getting involved in, taking on a task or a chore that you need to take care of. You can go to the grocery store. You can pick up a hobby. Maybe you want to start taking art classes, or maybe your local library is offering daily training sessions on a new task or skill. I know that my library has all different options, from crafts to card games to even learning about different programs that you can use on your computer. So maybe that's something that you'd want to get involved in. But this technique can be very, very helpful and a powerful way to help quiet your tinnitus. Engage in relaxation techniques. Examples of relaxation techniques may be mindfulness or meditation. And what this is doing is it's helping to reduce the arousal and the emotional amplification of the tinnitus. One of the key elements I always talk about with my tinnitus patients is incorporating a form of relaxation in their daily life. A really simple example of how you can incorporate relaxation anywhere is through something called 5-finger breathing. Through 5-finger breathing, what you can do is, as you inhale, you trace your finger up, very, very slow inhale through your nose, and then as you exhale, as you trace your finger down. As you trace your finger up, inhale, and as you trace your finger down, exhale. And you do that pattern for your entire hand, just very slow breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. You can couple this 5-finger breathing technique of tracing your hand with 4, 7, 8 counts of inhaling for a count of 4, holding for a count of 7, and exhaling for a count of 8. That's a nice way to be able to marry two different techniques there. The fifth powerful way that you can help to quiet your tinnitus is to protect your ears in loud environments. An example of a loud environment can be like a concert or a sporting event. It's really important to know that we don't want you to be overprotecting your ears in quiet environments, because if you overprotect your ears in environments that are not loud, you can actually cause a sound sensitivity. But let's talk a little bit more about what you can do at these loud events and what you should be wearing. An example of earplugs that we recommend are the high fidelity musician plugs. These are plugs that fit right into your ear, and they have a small filter in them that help to reduce the noise, keeping you safe, but allowing you to still hear in the environment that you are currently in. So this is the example of the box here from Earpiece. And they come on this nice little keychain here that you can clip right onto your keys and travel with. And the case opens up and you can see the plugs are right inside. The plugs are really easy to just be able to put right into your ear. And then you have them right on hand. So if you do go to a loud event, you can just reach for your key ring, take the plugs out, wear them. You can still hear your friends and family around you. You'll still be able to hear the concert and the sporting event, but you'll be protected, which is so important because loud noise exposure can certainly worsen your tinnitus and put you at risk for developing hearing loss. So these are 5 ways that you can help to quiet your tinnitus. Now, I challenge you to visit tinnitusquiz.com to learn more about your tinnitus and how you can help improve it.